All right. So, good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, March 26, 2022. And welcome back to Project We Inspire. My name is Rachel Mai Mongya, and I'm here in Sacramento, California. I am your host, founder, and creator of Project We Inspire. Again, our mission here is to promote stories of unique individuals who overcame barriers and obstacles in order to achieve their goals, dreams, and passions. So today we have a returning guest. And this young woman, Mae Yang from Colorado, has helped me in the past few months and many other individuals with their finances. And I'm super excited that she's coming back because it's, as you guys know, tax season's coming up and there's a lot of things that happen during this time. But most of all, she's going to be here to talk to us about money confident mindset. So definitely something I'm working on. So her background is having a master's degree in criminology from Regis University in Colorado. She's also worked at the district attorney's office, and she's a financial strategist and certified financial educator. So she's been providing her services to lots and lots of people in Colorado, and we are so grateful. And now she's gonna give us some tips and tools and some of her background to help us here. So welcome, Mae.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, Rachel. So excited to be here. Especially talking with you and working with you has always been so rewarding, so exciting. And I just can't wait to see, the end result on your end. So thank you for having me and thank you for the intro.
Thank you, Mae. And yes, it's been a pleasure working with you. And I really do hope today that all the things that we're going to cover are going to really help people move forward with their life financially. So, one of the first things, I'm interested is what are the three steps that can help people, can do to improve and build their money mindset, their money confident mindset?
So, like general speaking, whether you believe it or not, Rachel, I would say, growing up, we actually develop our money mindset from our parents, the way we were raised, the way we were, the way we learn about money within our household, and the way, we are in our like childhood environment, that actually impacts how we behave, our money behavior. The way we were surrounded and how we were taught to spend and save, all of that has like a huge influence in how we behave and how we value money. And I truly will say that we you know actually inherits our money mindset from our parents. And I don't know about you, but for me, like growing up, I was actually raised to, save and like just buy and save. Like, for example, okay, you go and you buy household items and then you save money. But we were not taught to how to be an investor, how to build wealth, how to save for the future, how to make $1 million when we are, when we retire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think the most important thing is truly just changing your money story. What is it that you want to see in the long run? What is it that you want to see? What kind of long term wealth do you want to build? And how are you going to build that money confidence? So I'm going to share with you three steps or three things that you can actually do. The first thing is truly look back at your childhood and try to understand that impact of your childhood financial identity. What is it? What happened then? Like how does that impact your current money behavior? How you are actually living in your adulthood now? What influences you? What changes you? And like truly just find that one thing. I call the soul craving. Like what are you craving for? What kind of changes are you craving for? What kind of outcome or outlook do you want? Right? So I'll share like a little bit about my story. So for me, growing up, money doesn't grow on tree in my family. I came from a poor family where, and especially being the middle child, I feel like I always get like hand down items. I never really truly, I don't recall ever go shoppings or like buying new items, buying new things, like how now my kids would get, right? I remember the only time I get new items is like, or new clothing, it's like back to school, and I had to wear uniform. So that's the only time that I actually get new um, stuff that are for me that are not like hand down. Um, and even in my childhood, I don't get to experience that. I call the magical childhood experience where I never been to Disneyland. We never had a family road trip. Never had a birthday celebrations. My parent never had, anything like, oh, May, this is saving for you. This is your piggy bank,
Mm-hmm.
And then, growing up, we always eat homemade food. And I love my mom's cooking. Um, but why does this experience matter, and why am I sharing this, right? So my point is that, money is important, and then money can buy you lifestyles. And because we didn't have money, so that I didn't get that kind of lifestyle. I didn't get the lifestyle like how now my kids will get, or now
Mm-hmm.
how majority of us will get, where we will like, where we can go on vacations, where we can, if you don't feel like cooking, you can actually hop, to fast food and get some fast food, right?
Yeah.
So that was my childhood, and so my soul craving. What was it that I actually want was, to never again relive this lifestyle, never again to have my kids relive this lifestyle. So that was my soul craving, is that lifestyle change, and that's what I want. So I use my childhood, financial identity, my childhood financial trauma or experience to inspire me and motivate me to, to do better, to be better, to make changes, because I believe that, everybody has the same opportunity growing up, has the same opportunity to go to school, whether you are from a rich or poor family. I think at the end of the day, it's you. You have to make that decisions. You have to make that determinations of what is the outcome that you want. What kind of lifestyle do you want to build? What kind of wealth do you want to create? And truly, just using your childhood, uh, financial identity to help you, to guide you, to motivate you, and inspire you. The second thing I will say is change your money story. So when I say change your money story is, we were taught to just save and play safe, right? We were
Mm-hmm.
taught to just work and save or go to school and make money. So that to some of us, that actually makes us fear to approach money. But I will say, don't approach money from fear. Don't approach money from scare. Don't approach money from limitations, but approach money from a place of curiosity. Be curious about what's out there for me. What can I do better? What can I turn my $1 into? What can I do to outpace inflations? What can I do so that if something happened to me, can I afford to keep my lifestyle, to retire, um, and to maintain, the things I want. So truly, just change your money story. And then the third thing is rewrite your money story. And when I say rewrite your money story, I want you to think of, again, it's just gonna go back to the outcome. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to truly just like shift and replace your mindset with, empowerment and curiosity. So for example, a lot of people go, well, I'm not the right person, I'm not the right fit, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, I can't be like May, or I can't be like Rachel, or I can't be like, Bill Gates, because I don't have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about that. It's the ability to recognize and to focus on saving. So what I normally will say is, be consistent with it. I would rather have you save $25 consistently than to save $100 whenever you can. So focusing your ability to save, whether it's big or small, um, and make that change. And then also the same thing is change the way you talk about money inside your house, with your kids, with your loved one. Trust yourself to handle money even when the time is actually uncomfortable, or be able to say no to things that doesn't serve you or doesn't make sense. And just be part of your family's money decision making within your household. whether you are a male or female, the lady of the house or not, or the daughter, be
Yeah.
part of that conversations, be part of that money conversations, that decision making, and be transparent about money, within your household. I don't know how many parents talk to their kids about money, but I talk about money to my kids all the time. We talk about money. We learn how to manage money. We do like I get them tasks in chores to do, and then they get points, and that points can turn into okay, you could your chores is for example 5 points, so that means you can get a items for $5. Like just teaching them the mentality of okay, I got to work to make money, and money can actually give me what I want if I work for it. So kind of like teaching them and help to develop their money mindset. And then the last thing is stop thinking about your limitations, things that you cannot do, and to replace it with positive thinking, manifest, right? That is
Right.
actually huge. And truly surround yourself with the right minded people, because you know why, all of these will actually help you to pick up with the good money habits, build your confidence, and truly shift your value of money and how you value money.
Wow, those are all great tips. I'm taking lots and lots of notes. So for those of you out there who are watching, I can't tell you guys enough though, when I talk to May, I'm like constantly taking notes and reviewing them. And I'm like, how do I change my mindset? How do I change my approach? So I love it. I really can relate to what you first said was uh, looking at your financial identity as a child and going back to your financial trauma and taking all those things and changing your money story and then motivating yourself, empowering yourself to focus on, like you said, the soul craving. I was like, oh my gosh, these are like great words to definitely keep like in your, I call it the financial growth book, right? Or financial what is it? Money confident mindset tips book. So, thank you so much. And I also was like looking at here that you really have to focus on saying no to things and being consistent with saving a small amount versus trying to save a large amount. That's a really great point, because it's harder to save big amounts versus like the smaller amounts, like $5, $10, $25 consistently, because things happen.
Mhm.
So yes, having all the money mindset, being with the right minded set of people, that all is or are great tips to build that money confident mindset. So I just want to say hello to, before we move next to the next set of questions. Kazua, thank you for watching. Hello, if you are out there and you are in either Minnesota, Colorado, California, Wisconsin, wherever you are, please give a shout out. Let us know if you can hear us okay. Um, you're welcome to ask any of your questions. We are more than happy to answer them at the end. We'll try our best to answer all your questions. So hopefully everything we're going to cover today is definitely going to help each of you, because I'm definitely taking notes right now and going to keep these with me. So, all right. Thank you, May. So
Yeah.
our next question is, can you give us 3 tips that people can start a healthy, practical money plan?
So I would say, the most important thing is to create that practical money plan, right? And to stick to it, to be disciplined. So when you create a practical money plan, what does that involve? That's involved a budget, creating a budget, right? So the first thing is create your budget. Why is that important? Like people go, why do I need a budget, right? When I have, for example, I can see my bank statements when I don't have time for that, right? But truly, by creating a budget, it can actually help you to pay your bills on time, be prepared for emergencies, reach your financial goal faster, and truly put you in control of your finances. The second thing you could do is think of the 3 T's. Okay, 3 T's. So that stands for track, trim, and targets. And so what does that involve? So that entails and that requires you to, for example, take inventory of your finances. Take account of what you have. That means look at your financial statement, look at your bank statements, know your income, know how much you're bringing in, how much actually going out, what are your expenses, and be able to differentiate the difference between your fixed or your flexible expenses, or in another word, are you spending your money for things that you want, or are you spending money for things that you need? And be able to adjust your budget to fit your lifestyle, your financial goal. So, for example, we all live in a phrase where, or in throughout our life, we have phrases where there are some times where we are doing okay. There are some times where we're, just getting by. There are some times where we have extra money, right? But if you're, let's just say, for example, for me, yes, I would love to take my kids on a vacation, a exotic vacation at least once a year, and at least a few small mini road trip a few times a year, or even a local, mini vacation once a year. That's what I want for my family. But then I had to revisit my finances. I had to kind of look at my budget. I kind of had to look at my circumstance and my current situations, and say to myself, can I afford this, or can this be hold on? And be, truly just be able to adjust to that and change, work around that. It's just because that's what you want all the time does not mean that you have to have that all the time. It means that you could probably, instead of going on 10 mini road vacation, just do one for the year, right? Yeah, so just be able to adjust to that, so that you can, adjust your lifestyle, adjust to your finances in order for you to meet your goals. If you have a long-term goal or a bigger goal that you're going to work towards, maybe it makes sense to eliminate those vacations, and save more money towards your financial goals. So, for example, if you are working on down payment in a house or buying a house, maybe it makes sense to cut down on some of those, mini vacations. So truly just, work around your lifestyle, work around your budgets. And the third thing is set your SMART goal. It's funny because me and my daughter, we talked about this last night, right? She go, Mom, what is a SMART goal, right? She was like, what is SMART goal? Tell me about it. And I go, well, SMART goal is something that when you set a goal, it's not just, oh, I want to save more money, or I want more money, or I want to buy, this. But it's like, what are you buying it for? So make your goal really specific. When are you going to get it? Make it measurable, right? Can you get it? Make it attainable. Do you need it? Make it relevant, right? And when are you going to get it by? So make it time sensitive, time related. So not just like, I want to save more money, or I want to have more money, or I want to buy a new car, but the details involving buying a new car. What is it entails? When do you want it? How are you going to get that? How much is it? Where are you going to get that from, and how are you going to find the money to buy that, right? So that's why I was teaching her that, when you set SMART goal, it's not just about, oh, I want this, but how am I going to get this, and all the details that involves.
Wow, I love it. I really appreciate that you first started out with creating that budget, because I think we all have to figure out how to successfully live comfortably with a budget that best fits our lifestyle. And you have to know the cutoff, because that's practical, right? Sometimes we don't limit ourselves, and I'm guilty of that too. So I'm like, okay, where do I really start? Like you said, practical is starting with the budget. I love what you said, the 3 T's. So you said truck, trim, target.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
To track, to trends, and to target. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Trends.
Yeah.
Target.
And see, and it's funny because when I talk about practical money, like be practical with your budget, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I go, okay, I feel like this month I've been eating out too much. So next week I'm gonna cut down on eating out, and I'm gonna try to cook more at home, right? And then there's some nights where I'm like, I don't feel like cooking. So I would tell my husband, I'm like, can we just go grab something to eat? And then at the back of my head, I would go, wait, I just told myself, can't do that. I feel like we went out like 5 times this week already. So I need to stop, right? Can we just find something in the house to eat rather than going out? So when you have that in the back of your head, you are saving with intentions, or you are being disciplined, with your plan, the chance of you meeting your goals, it's actually likely than, when you go, okay, well, you know what? Screw about my plan, right? Forget about my plan. I'm hungry, right?
Yeah.
It's really just be disciplined and just practice it.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's interesting you said that, because I actually was just talking to my boyfriend last week about it. And I said, even going out twice a week, um, to go out, it adds up over time.
Hmm.
And you know how, like I shared with you, that we just moved out, and I realized that it wasn't just us disciplining ourselves to eat 5 days in, but also to eliminate going out during the weekday, because then it changes your budget, it changes everything, especially when you are working together on goals. So I had to say, I confessed, and I said, I'm sorry. I should have waited until this weekend, but I cheated and I went early, and so, but definitely, I definitely can relate to the whole discipline thing. And I love the SMART goal concept of making it specific, measurable, attainable. And why is it relevant? I think that's so true. There's sometimes that we make goals in general and we're not specific. We don't put a deadline to it. And I definitely learned that from how I was going to fix my credit when we first spoke and talked about changing my whole financial portfolio, right? So
Hmm.
I really love that. I started to say, you know what? I want to do this in 3 months. I want to be able to get here in 6 months and take it baby steps. So I think that's very applicable and it's doable. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give like you like an example.
Mm-hmm.
So recently I was working with a client, and she wants to. So she recently just got a new job.
Uh-huh.
She got a used car right now. It's not that great. So her hope is to have to work long enough to where she can save money and then actually buy a newer car. Here in Colorado with the snow, we need good tires. We need reliable car.
Yes.
So her when I was working with her, I asked her. I was like, "When do you want to buy a car by?" Not just, "Oh, I want to buy a car," but what is your budget? How much are you planning to down payments your
Mm-hmm.
car? Are you going to try to refinance? When do you want that by, and what kind of car are you getting, that you're getting? How much do you have right now save up, and what is your income? And then when we tackle everything, she shared with me that she wants to be able to down payment 5,000, and then finance the rest. And then that opens the questions for me to ask, okay, if you're going to finance the rest, if you're looking to buy a $30,000 car,
Mm-hmm.
what is your credit score like?
Yeah.
And she go, I don't know. So then I
Mm-hmm.
tell her, okay, go here, get a copy of your credit score. Let's tackle it. Let's work on it so that by the time that you're ready in September to, go buy a car,
Mm-hmm.
that you at least will be in a better position as far as refinancing, qualifying for a car, getting a lower interest rate. Yeah, so things like that are important. The little details of it. It's not just about, oh, I want to buy a car, but what
Mm-hmm.
are the details and tells that are relevant to it?
Yeah, that is so true. I can definitely relate to that car buying scenario or situation, because you and I know that I had to go and buy one. And so this is nothing personal towards the dealer, but definitely I shared with you, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, is when you don't have a very great credit score. And I'm going to be very humble to say I don't really have a great one, and May knows this, and I'm not going to say the numbers, but I got a really good lecture from the dealer, and I was so upset and so sad, and I was crying, and I was like, you know what, I'm never going to do this to myself again. And I remember sharing that with you, May, and I just said to myself, walking away with the car, I got the car, I'm very happy, he worked with me and everything. But this is something I think is really important, to be practical with yourself, is to make that goal, to check on um, you know, um, your credit score, to go in, not like me, blind and then get lectured, but go in having everything set and planning to create the best scenario for yourself. Because I promised myself this, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. I will never go back to another dealership with that, and give them the opportunity, right, to lecture me. I want to be able to go there, like you said, with the confidence and just say, you know what, this is my credit score, this is what I have down, this is my plan, and I'm looking for this car with this budget. And then, and not like be desperate or not be in a bad situation. And I've never thought of that mindset until I spoke to you. And that really changed how I view myself, and how it could really change how I think about myself, and how I didn't even think about what he was going to say to me, but definitely for sure, I think that really helps. It's just to be prepared and give yourself time, and get yourself to the best place possible. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And truly, when you walk into any dealership, what you want is, you don't want them to shame you, right? Especially
Yes.
right in your heart, you already nervous enough, scared
Yeah.
enough. You already know what you have and what you don't have, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
need, the other person or on the other side for them to shame you, for
Mm-hmm.
them to make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel, less worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so next time we do decide, to make a big purchase,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have the best credit score, but knowing what you have, knowing what you plan, and then having a plan in advance and work towards that, that will actually get you, um, at least one step ahead, or at least in a better positions.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I was just thinking, I prepare, a lot for like our interviews, and for work, and for presentations, and for interviews. And I go, why didn't I even think about preparing to go see a dealer? I was like, how he's gonna, interview me, and how he's gonna talk to me and ask me all these questions. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is part of financial education and awareness that not a lot of people know. And they just go in and say, oh, I just want a car. I just need this car because I need to go to work, or I need this for school. So I definitely would say this is part of like the financial education we don't get from, schooling, and from even our parents sometimes. And I think this is what's valuable about learning more about your financial identity. I love that phrase.
Yeah, and Rachel, you mentioned about being prepared to go for interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share with you how I do it. So for me, it's all in your head. It's all your mindsets. Every single time when I go for a job interview, I would say at least 9 out of 10 I would get the job,
Mm-hmm.
not because I'm the superstar, not because I'm super great, not because I'm qualified or anything like that. But when I walk in, or when I'm gonna go to that interview, I go with the mindset of, I'm going to interview you to see if, do I want to work for your workplace? Do I like your
Mm-hmm.
organization? Does the culture of your organization fit my personality, fit
Mm-hmm.
my lifestyle? Is that what I want? Is that where I want to invest my energy, my time in? Is it worth it for me? It's not about, do you want me? What can I do so that you can hire me, right? But it's,
Mm-hmm.
are you a good fit for me too? Because I'm the one who's gonna trade my time for your money. I'm the one who's going to work for you. I'm the one who's going to surround my time in my life around the people in your organization. Do I like it? Does
Mm-hmm.
your organization's value, what I value?
Mm-hmm.
So when I go in with that kind of mindset, it changed the way how I allow them to interview me, or the way I respond, through my interview questions. So truly, it truly comes from your mindset as well.
Mm-hmm. That's so
Maybe-
true.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, thank you for that, because I'm definitely going to take all those tips and think of it in all aspects of my life, and just say, is this a good fit for me, and change that mindset so you don't go in there afraid and scared.
Mhm. And hoping that they interview you and they will call you back, right? But
Yeah.
go and and see if they're a good fit for you. It doesn't matter how high the job pays. It doesn't matter how great the company is. If it doesn't align with what you want and you value,
Mm-hmm.
um, so for example, if you value working from home, and if you know that this job doesn't allow working from home, if you value having time off, and if they have a probation period where, oh, you can't take vacation for the first 9 months or a whole year, then maybe that's not a good fit for you. So don't just settle just because you're desperate for opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, there will be opportunity out there that will fit what you want and that will align with your value.
Mm. That's so true. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
All right. So number 4 here, it says, as a financial strategist, what do you?
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. I think we
No,
are
no.
three.
Are we on 3? Are we on 3?
Yes.
Yes, I'm jumping ahead. I apologize. Can you share some of the important keys that people should be doing when they set up a budget?
Yeah. So the most important key is review your finances.
Mhm,
Again, it's going to go back to looking at your, bank statement, looking at how much did you spend, look at your budget.
mhm,
Let me ask you this, Rachel. When was the last time you reviewed your budget? What was the last time you actually print out all your last 12 months of big statements and look through every single of them and highlight the things that you buy that are things that you want, or how many times did you spend money eating out, right? So review your budget, review your
mhm,
finances, and then again, just set your specific goal. It's not about, okay, I want to save money, but what are you saving for? Like, name it, claim it. If you are saving truly for that 20%, to down payment a house, okay, what is your budget on a house? Are you looking for a $500,000 house? What does that 20 budget looks like for you? How long
mhm,
is it going to take you to get that, right? And then go back to the card. What car do you want? What is the price?
mhm,
How much are you looking to down payment? Are you looking to cash? Are you looking to refinance? If you're looking to remodel a home, your kitchen, let's just say, for example,
mhm,
what is your budget on that? Is it going to be a $15,000, renovation, or is that going to be a 30,000? How are you going to meet that? The same thing with budgeting for retirement. If you don't want to rely solely on Social Security or your employer sponsor, and you want to save aside because you want to be able to maintain the lifestyle that you currently have and to
mhm,
truly travel and not just retire and stay home,
mhm,
how much do you really need? And let's just say, for example, if you need to budget $500 a month towards retirement, you need to name that and claim it and say, this $500 every month goes towards my retirement. $500 every month goes towards my saving for my home project because I'm
mhm,
looking to remodel my home in the next 2 years.
mhm,
So just be very specific and name it, and not just, oh, I want to save money, but
mhm.
what are you saving for?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I realized that when you said, Rachel, when was the last time you reviewed your finances and budget for the last 12 months? I said, I have not ever done a 12-month review of my finances or budget. And I think a lot of people don't. They'll probably be scared. But I've done, when we last spoke, I did do like 3 months, and I think that's all I could take. So, so I recognize that, okay, I'm going to just start out with the last 3 months of especially starting a new job and where I want to go. And I'm gonna take baby steps. And then I go, one day I will be able to look at everything from a 6 to 12 months perspective. I love that concept of name it and claim it. I think that's not only like catchy, but it helps you own it. Like you said, you have to own what you want to work for, and it helps you strategize better. And I realized that when I told you, I said, May, I want to change my credit score, in the next 6 to 12 months. And I realized when I verbalized that and I said it, I could break down everything that I needed to do. And I said, you know what? This is my budget. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to put towards it. And that just made me look so differently with everything. So I totally agree with that. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
All right. So, number 4, thank you for keeping me on track.
Yeah.
So, as a financial strategist, May, what do you value and suggest that people should do in order to maintain their money confident mindset momentum?
So in order for you to truly, maintain that money confidence momentum, is find your financial balance.
Mm,
Find the balance, because you know what, your attitude itself isn't the only elements to successful financial mindsets. You
mm,
need to find the balance.
mhm,
And when I say find the balance, because that balance of your financial life is what will foster your stability. It will
mm,
keep you on track. So for example, if you spend all of your time focusing on debt elimination, paying on your debt, working on your credit score, and paying down those debt, and then you don't focus on saving for emergency. When you have an emergency, where is that money's going to come from, right?
mhm,
When you're, I don't know, when something happened, where is that money's going to come from? If you are budgeting just for today to save it for now so that you can use it within the next 6 months or just now, and you're not budgeting for, for a effective retirement or for a good retirement, where's the money's going to come from when you retire? This is why I said I can take out loans and I can borrow money for my kids' higher educations, but I cannot take out loan and borrow money for my retirement. So you have to think about that, and I want you to be able to like balance that. So, for example, if your budget, if you have an extra $1,000 per month, don't use all of that $1,000 to pay debt. Don't use all of that $1,000 to put towards family vacations, but diversify that. Can $300 goes towards your retirement? Can $300 goes towards family vacation? Can the rest go towards emergency? So diversify, your saving into different, I call it different jars, so that you have at least a consistent saving for each one of them, and you're not behind on one or the other, in that when mishaps happen, you at least have something to fall back on. So truly just find the balance, find your financial balance.
Wow, I really like how you said first. That's the first thing you have to do is definitely stick with diversifying what you save, because sometimes when you save, I've learned, like you say, oh, I'm just going to put $200 away, but it's just there, and it's better to allocate it. It sounds like, in those different jars. So that's definitely helpful to not neglect one financial goal for another, but to have a balance for, like you said, emergencies, retirement, debts, even the vacation is really helpful. Okay, I'm definitely learning. I'm just writing all my notes here.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, because I think that's part of life is being a student, right? Even outside of the classroom, and constantly learning how you can change things, especially when it hasn't changed. And I think with our conversation, a lot of people know that when after you separate from a marriage or you experience big life changes, you have to learn to rebalance.
Right.
Your financial income changes from like when you're used to with a partner with one, and then also when you start a new relationship, it starts over again because you're working with a new income and new person. So, and of course new goals. But thank you. I'm definitely gonna take notes on that.
Yeah.
So, number 5, knowing that having the right money mindset is important for wealth building. What are some books that you have read or excited to read or recommend to help others grow their mindset?
So I'll be very honest. When I first started, it wasn't because I picked up a book and read and it changed my mindsets. It was because somebody recommended a book for me that I read and that I read it, and then it changed my mindset. But for me, truly, it started from me believing and dreaming and wanting that change, and keep falling back onto my soul craving. And I believe that my childhood and my professional, career, where I work with people around, money, it truly shaped my money mindset. It truly changed how I value money and how I see money, and how I want to, design my life, and the changes I want to see for me and my kids. So it wasn't from a books that I read. But with that, I read a couple books, and I loved it. And I do have a couple more that it's actually on my pipeline to get on. But just in my bookshelf, I actually have over 20 books that I have not read, but my husband did. So I will, and it took a long list, so I'm not going to go through every single one of them. Rachel, I will send you my list of book of recommendations, and you can post it here. I will also post it in my private group, and if you're interested, you can actually, go through the list, and if any of the books, sounds appealing to you, order one and read it. If you can get a free version online, why not, right? So I'm gonna, so I'll share with you a few that I actually like. So the first one is You're a Badass at Making Money. So that book, it really truly talks about your mentality, and how you need to develop this mentality in order to stop doubting yourself, in order for you to shift your money mindset and to start loving and to start having abundance of money. So it's so much about the personality way, your personality, and changing that mentality. So that was one of the first books I read. That helps
And
me.
you said it's called "You're a Badass in Making Money."
And You're a Badass at Making Money
Oh,
by Waters. Yeah.
okay.
So I will give you the list as well.
Yeah.
The second one is the 10 time X rule. By Grant Cardone. It's a book that talks about how you can set yourself to do 10 times more. And then when you do, for example, when you do take action, put in 10 times more. Like, for example, don't don't do it to get it done, but put 10 times effort more. And always like shoot for high goal, always set high goal. So I like that it is something that, when I say, okay, I want this, for example, if I say, okay, you know what, I want to make 3,000 this month, but instead of just 3,000, if I can make 10 times more than that, would I? Yeah. Right. So try to shoot for a bigger number, even though whether you're going to make it or not, just truly shift that mindset of, I can do it. I can achieve it, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to give my all in order to achieve that. And then the last one is Wealth Beyond Wall Street. So that books, it talks about how you can actually show or protect your money, and how you can, avoid and outpace taxes, inflations. How you can actually protect yourself from the market downturn, how you can create more cash flow, and have a better retirement, a happier retirement. This kind of goes back to, us growing up, our parent talks or teach us about, work and save, right? Work and save. Like, you work to pay your bills and you save, right? But but they don't teach you of, what do you do with the money that you save? Where can you put it to, to grow for you, to work for you? Where can you do it to where, like 20 years from now, your money is still what it's supposed to work, right? So this one time, I actually went to when I was in corporate, for one of my case, I went to a facility. It's a senior facility, but it's like one of those high-end senior facility. It's like super, super luxury and nice. It's all inclusive. And I walk in there and I wonder, and then these people, like these residents, are like between the age of 70 to 90s. And I go, wait, these people, if I were to put them in my age, many, many years ago, at that time, they were making $2.50 per hour. They're making $5 per hour. How are they paying $10,000 per month for cost of living in these facilities? Where does that money come from, right? And then until I start working on the case and everything, and then I realized that, this is where the money comes from. This is how they save for retirement. This is why they have, the financial cushions. This is how they fund their retirement. And truly, this book helps me to open my eye and change my perspective of, I don't want to just put all of my eggs into one basket. I don't want to save all of my money into a saving account. I want to diversify it. I want to be able to protect my money from the market downturn, but at the same time, let my money work for me. Let it grow for me, so that when I do retire, I will be able to live in that kind of lifestyle like these seniors do. Because I remember one time we were driving home. We passed by a senior facility, which is like closer by to our house. And then my son he looked at it. Like he looked out the window and he saw the building, right? He go, Mom, is that the building? Is that where you're going to live when you're old? Right? And I go, and I was like, what? So you're not going to take care of me when I'm old? But my intention is not for my kids to take care of me when I'm old. What I want is, I want to be able to have the financial cushions, the financial resources to, when I retire, I can live that lifestyle. I can have somebody to come and, do my laundry for me, cook for me, take care of me, so that my kids doesn't have to do that and the burden doesn't fall back on them, because
Mhm.
that's not how I want them to live their adulthood,
Mhm.
taking care of me, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so truly, I love this books. If you want to change, if you want to look into a different perspective of your financial future, this will be a good book to a good one to read.
That's,
Yeah, I do have a lot.
yeah.
Just gonna highlight or name a few that I'm going to read next.
Mhm.
So it is The Secret of the Millionaire's Mind, Think and Grow
Mm.
Rich, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living in Happy Money. So these are the four books that I'm going to read. It's actually on my pipeline. I do have those books already,
Mhm.
and many more. But Rachel, I'll send you the list, and then you could just
Yeah.
post it so that anybody who may want to look into or may want to order a copy for them, they
Yes.
can do so.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll include all the authors too, so that they get the right books.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've always been interested since I've met you. I'm like, what does May read? What does she what I'm like, I'm not only gonna pick her brain, but I want to know what she puts in her brain, because I'm just fascinated with like the things that you've learned over time, and it makes so much sense that your financial identity started when you were a child, but also you can reshape it as an adult.
Mhm.
And so, I just think like all the things that you've said, has really, for me personally, struck a chord to where I understand it. I get it. It really does come with your personality and balancing everything you're doing. And it's not overnight. It takes time. So thank you. I really like
Yeah.
you're a badass at making money, because I think there's another book out there that talks about being badass, but I'm like, wow. And I love that whole 10 times what do you say? 10 times grant more? Is that
10 times more. Yeah.
10 times more? Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't realize that when you have a goal, that if you don't put in 10 times more or more effort, that it
More
doesn't
effort.
get accomplished as well. And
Right.
wealth beyond Wall Street, so true. My mom says, always save your money. And then now I'm thinking, what for? But definitely that's helpful. Thank
Yeah.
you. I look
Yeah.
forward to getting that list, and we'll definitely share that list with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next question. Thank you. Um, So I'm gonna shift gears here real quick, and I want to ask you about your background in the financial crime space. Um, you and we've talked about tax scams and tax fraud, and I have a personal story that, we laughed about it. Oh, we laugh about it now, but I wasn't laughing back then.
Hmm.
But because it's tax season, and I really think this is important, that it's a part of developing a money confident mindset is, to be able to tackle your taxes and then detect tax scams and fraud. Can you share how people can effectively prepare for their taxes?
Yeah. So first, I want to put a disclaimer. I am not a CPA, so I would not be. All the information I'm giving you is for informational and educational only. It's not intended to be used for tax advice. So
Mhm.
if you have any specific questions regarding taxes, please reach out to a certified, CPA,
Mhm.
your certified accountant, and they can help answer those questions for you. But I'm just going to give you a checklist. Um, so I would say the first thing is make sure that you collect all your personal information ready, meaning your identity, in order
Mhm.
to file taxes, including any dependents that you may have, that you will include them on your taxes. And this also goes to, and I see this happen a lot, this also goes to household who are, let's just say, separate parents. um, Talk to your other, to the other parents, who's going to claim the kids this year, who's gonna file, the kids this year, so that there's no duplications, or there's no delay, or there's no issues after, because the cleanup can take a lot of work and can take a lot of um, it's like a long process, and at the same time, it's almost like, I put it this way: once you get yourself into the red flag, it's almost like your account will always get audited, because
Mhm.
um, somehow you got yourself there, and then so you kind of stay on that category. It's almost like that. So make sure that you keep it clean. You communicate who's going to clean the kids this year if you're not filing together, so that there's no duplications, no conflicts, no misunderstanding. If you are looking to, for example, if you know that you're going to get a refund and you want a direct deposit, make sure that you verify your bank information. If you want a paper check and you know that you're looking for, you're going to get a refund, make sure that you verify your address. Make sure that that address is a place where your mail don't get lost, or people don't just, take your mails and things like that. The second thing is collect all of your source of income verifications. So that could be your W-2s, your 1099, any forms that, verify how much did you earn. Your deductions, so any expenses that you can use it for tax purposes. Any tax credit, that means, for example, a 1090 AT, if you're paying for higher educations, if you are paying for childcare to a certified or licensed facilities. And then the most important thing is decide who's going to file your taxes for you. Are you going to do it by yourself? Meaning, are you going to use the paper form to file your tax? Are you going to use a tax professional? Or are you going to use a software or applications to file your tax online? So decide who's going to do it for you. Are you going to do it yourself? You're going to do it online, or you're going to hire somebody, and just and just kind of go with that process. But just like I say, do your homework, organize everything before you start the process, so that you there's no conflict, there's no delay, there's no misinformations, and you want to make sure that when you do file taxes, that you have everything up front, to give you the most positive experience.
Yeah, I've noticed that when you don't do, like you said, your homework, and you don't prepare all your personal information, you don't have all your W-2s, and then if and then you're at, let's say you're having it done by H&R Block or a company, you have to come back. You have to reschedule,
Right.
and you're already busy, and so you have to. The best thing is definitely to collect all the information that you listed, so that you don't have to make another appointment, because they charge you.
Right.
They charge you money, and for their time, and then calling you also is sometimes a hassle, because again, there's schedule conflicts and stuff. But I do want to mention that I realized with the whole parents and who's going to claim what, I've learned, and I think parents who have been divorced, I didn't know this until I reached that point. So what I've learned is that even if you have 50-50 custody, and I want to put a disclaimer, it's a case by case, right? But I called the tax IRS, and I was like, so how do you decide who's going to claim taxes? And so one of the things I learned was that if the child is with you more than 51%, not 50-50, 51%, that you're more likely able to claim them. But you cannot duplicate, like you said. You cannot claim a child more than once in that year. And so if you're going to alternate, then you have to also remember, like you said, that you can become a part of the red flag family where they're going to say, why does this child claim this year with this parent, and then this year, they're going to look at that. So I definitely have learned a lot about filing as a married as a married individual, and then not, separate or divorced. And so definitely you do not want to be on the list for being audited. It's no fun. So I think that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So number 7 here. Can you elaborate on what are the expenses that could be tax write-offs, and how do they help with tax outcome?
Yeah, so as far as tax deductions, it's any of your deductions that you pay out of pocket for medical expenses. So this means you don't get reimbursed for that. It's actually truly what you pay out, not where you actually get a reimbursement back, right? Any donations that you made to a charity, a license, or I don't know, a charity that has a tax ID. And if you pay for example, if you're a homeowner, you pay for property taxes. If you're a business owner and you have business expenses, again, talk to a certified tax person to help you itemize those items and what you can use as a deductions or not. But typically, in general speaking, medical expenses, any donations that you make to charities, property tax, business expenses and things like that. These are the things that you can use as tax deductions. The purpose of it is, I will say, if you're a high earner and you have these expenses or you're making donations or you have business expenses, it may be able to help you to lower your taxes if you are if you do have to pay back. On the other side, if you are a low earner in having these expenses, if you are due or qualify or eligible for a refund, that may also help to increase your refund as well. But do talk to your CPA and get it itemized, and your CPA will be able to tell you based on these specific type of expenses, what can you get out of it, and how does that apply, and how does that relevant to your filing in the type of file that you're filing for taxes.
Yeah, I definitely, I think that definitely helps, because sometimes what I've learned is that you can donate money to a charity or a church, but if they don't have a tax ID or organization or club, then you can't write it off, because you need that proof. So I've learned that, especially if you want to lower your taxes or just give to a charity that you truly believe in, if they don't have a tax ID, then you can't write it off officially. So I learned that the hard way. But that's why I think you just make sure that whoever you're giving the money to for donations, they have that tax ID. So
yeah.
Thank you. And then moving right along to number 8 here. As you mentioned, May, how people can effectively prepare for taxes, knowing that tax season is an opportunity for tax fraud and tax scams. Yes, I've personally, like I shared before, experienced one myself, and it was pretty intense. And yeah, it was. It was pretty scary and intense. So, with your knowledge and experience helping crime victims of financial crime, can you please share some examples of tax fraud and tax scams that are out there?
So, Rachel, I would say there's so many, and these scammers are so creative. But the most typical and well-known ones are the Irs Tech Scam,
Yes.
software tech scams, collection agencies tech scam, CPA tech scam, law enforcement tech scam, social security tech scams. So many more, but these are more common. When you do get a phone call, they will either claim to be from the IRS, from law enforcement, from a collection agency, or from a local, tax agencies, or even pretend to be social security. These are because why? Because these are well-known or popular terms and agencies and offices that people will likely believe in and be shocked, right? Rather than if I were to say, "Hey, Rachel, I'm here, from Mag Financial Wellness, and I'm calling you regarding your tax. I think you owe taxes, right?" You'd be like, "Who the hell are you, right?" But if I were to say, "Hey, Rachel," right? But if I were to say, "Hey, Rachel, I work for the IRS. I identified this, da da da." What is your chance at responding and be engaged and stay on the call with me? Higher, right? So these are some of the tricks that scammer use to hook you or to get you.
Yep. And you and I know that I was, if you haven't heard from our last interview, I was definitely a part of an IRS tech scam. And they called me at around 9 o'clock, and they immediately said, "I'm from IRS. I know you owe money," even though they didn't even give like a name or like a work number code or anything. Now that I know better, of course, the first thing was they said, "You owe taxes, and we can come and seize your property, your car. We know where you work, where you live, and you have to go to Walgreens, or you have to go to the closest store that has, the following." Yeah,
Gift
gift card.
cards.
And that's the only way we take payment.
Mhm.
And when you're so naive and you're scared and you're nervous, and I can only imagine so many people going through this. And I admit, I was, just starting, working, and I didn't really have like anything in my mind where I was gonna feel like I was gonna get conned or anything or scammed. And I literally left work, went to Walgreens, and they specifically said this is the only way you're gonna pay us, and you buy $400 of this gift card, um, and and tell us the number right after you pay the gift card. And luckily, thank goodness, and thank God, thank the heavens, thank my ancestors, whoever was there, the manager of the store was like, "What are you doing?" Because he saw how nervous and how scared I was. So I can only imagine people have really gone through this. And he stopped me. He literally stopped me right before I made the purchase, and he said, "This is a scam. Let me talk to them." And even at this point, this person on the other line was still argumentative. I want people to know that they are so determined. They have incorporated so much authority in their role playing. Right, they're
Mhm.
scripting this out. And basically they said, "You know what, I can talk to him." And basically this person yelled and told the manager that Rachel needs to buy this for us, and if she doesn't, we're going to come to her workplace right now. So that is so important, that they will intimidate, they will find ways to make it so believable that
Mhm.
you don't even know. And they will say, "You know what, I'm IRS," and they keep repeating that, and it scares you. So at the end of the day, May, you taught me, and people have taught me, that the IRS will never call you
No.
to collect money. Law enforcement will never call you to collect money. So security won't call you. They will send you a letter. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It will be official. It will be official in a letter format to your resident. And, you know, there's different protocols to that, but they will not call you to ever buy, of course, um, a gift card. They will not take those kind of payments. Later on, I experienced a different way of paying off taxes, and it's definitely not that way at Walgreens or at a local store.
Right.
So definitely, I want people to know that is that you're going to get scared, you're going to get shocked, and if you have any questions or if you are concerned, right away ask them for the information. If they can't give you solid, concrete information, and they're making you leave your work and they're intimidating, scaring you, you can just hang up and call law enforcement right away. So that moves next to the next question is, okay, when this happens, May, what should people do when they are confronted with tax fraud, tax scams? Like, how do they report it? What are the next steps?
So you can actually, when you notice this, or became a victim, you can
Mhm.
actually report scams to the Federal Trade Commissions,
Mhm.
so they can keep track of the trends, and they can, do educational workshop. They could send out material. They could teach. They could educate the public about what is the hottest trends out there. What's the highlight? For example, oh, this is tax season. Make sure you don't get scam. And you could do that through their 1-800 number, or you could do it through the website. So you could go to reportfraud.ftc.gov,
Mhm.
and if file a report there. If you believe that your identity has been, bleached, that somebody has access to your W-2, especially when it involves like tax scan, they know how much you earn, things like that. They know your identity, your address. You can notify your Social Security office. There is
Mhm.
a link where you can actually, notify for like scams or fraud, or to report
Mhm.
for identity theft. You can also notify your state Department of Revenue, because they're dealt with your local tax, right?
Mhm.
And also notify your tax accountant if you do have one, if they are the one who help you file your taxes, so that they at least be on the lookout. And maybe sometime that may also make your tax accounting be more aware of what kind of software did I use? Did I protect
Mhm.
my client's information? Did I secure the information?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that put them on the lookout for you as well. and so that they know what's going on as well, as you go through the process, because the cleanup process could be very daunting, very heartache, very stressful. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually end up spending a lot of money to hire somebody to help you like clean up all of those. So just make sure that you be proactive about it.
Thank you. Yes, it's so true. And I think that's so helpful to know that. And if you can help post those websites, the different places that you can call to report those. And I really like the idea that you said to report it to federal trade commissions, because there is a trend. And when we report these trends, they can definitely give you the educational workshops, and then we can share that with everybody, because like you said, they become very super creative, and they find different ways as soon as like they start learning that like for example, the gift cards don't work anymore, then they find another way. They start using other apps, they start using social media, they start using different ways to get payment. And so they're super creative in that. And so that's something definitely that we definitely need to track for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, and then one of the reasons why I also say, to report to the Federal Trade Commissions, because when I was working in corporate, what I noticed is that when you do, and when you have enough complaints, or a lot of people who file for the same thing. For example, let's just say, if scammer tell you to send money through a money wire transfer, bank or agencies or something like that. Then let's just say when you have thousands of people or hundreds of people who complain about that specific money wire agencies, right? That red flags that agencies, and then so the government or the federal look into it, and then what they do is, for example, if they found that there's a scam, right? When I was in corporate, what happened was that did happen for some of the cases. So what they did is they have a window where if you were a victim of financial crime, you wire money through this money transfer agency from this time to this time. If you have verifications that you have been a victim, you could file for a claim, like you can file for a refund. So it's important for you to report that, and so that the federal could look into that. And in any case like that, if they could do something about it, there's a possibility that you may be able to, for example, get your money back. Or, for example, at the same time, when they have access to your identity, they can misuse the information. So by reporting, you're actually documenting that, hey, that wasn't me using my information. My identity got stolen, so therefore whoever is doing this on the other side, it's not me. So you at least had documentation to verify and to prove that it wasn't me, I didn't do that. It just makes the process less stressful and better for you.
Yeah, that actually is very helpful, because it just made me think about this situation. So last summer, and I forgot to mention this, May, but I think it'll be really useful for our audience and viewers to hear this. So last summer, I needed an AC unit, and I went on this website. It looked very legit. It had like the stamp on it, official from, I guess you could say like some kind of AC verification like stamp, where they sell legit air conditioning systems. And I noticed that when I was comparing prices, that with this website, the prices were extremely low. It was like too good to be true. And of course, I was like, when you hear and see too good to be true, it's you're like, it has to be too good to be true. So don't buy it. But I was desperate. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I was like, it's 100 like and 2 degrees outside. I'm in California. I don't have an AC unit. I can save $50. So literally, I made a purchase, and a week later, I get an envelope, and I don't even know what was in it. I think it was like seeds. I don't know. It was really really weird. It was odd. And then I noticed that there was a notification that came to my phone, my email, because you sign up with your phone email, and it said the package has arrived. And then it referenced the AC company. And then I said, "What? I received a package, but it was not an AC unit because obviously it's a big box." And then when I looked at the envelope and I said, "What are these, seeds or dirt or what is it?" And I said, "Oh my goodness, I just got scammed. I can't believe that I spent it must have been like $150 or so. And let's say AC units are between 250 and 300.
Mhm.
And I was just thinking like, oh my goodness, what is going on? But by that time, I already recommended this website to my family members, and they already ordered, and they were also waiting for their shipment.
Oh my goodness.
So this is classic. So I went to the post office, and I went and made a complaint, and they verified it, and they said the company used that tracking number. You got the package. We don't have the package. And I showed them the package, right? It was like the envelope with the tracking number. And the thing that got to me was it said it only weighed so many ounces. Now, we all know an AC unit does not weigh so many ounces. It's like pounds. It's like a 15, 20 pound at least unit. And then I go, oh my goodness, this is horrible. So I made the complaint. I wrote back, and I realized after 3 back and forth emails that I was basically speaking to a computer. I was not speaking to a person. And I started to look at the different setup of this website. And I learned that this website looked very much like this other very, very legit one. So they
Mhm.
basically copied and pasted a real AC, um, you know, uh, production company,
Right.
and they took all my information, and basically probably thousands and maybe even millions of people's $150, which is like half, if not 50%, up to 70% off of a regular AC unit. And they've been sending everybody these small envelopes of whether it's seeds or dirt or whatever it was, and I can only imagine, like, wow, they're making millions and hundreds of dollars of money. And I reported it and everything. But what I learned too, though, is that after this happened, somebody has stolen my credit card information and made purchases afterwards. And they were really odd ones. They bought food, they bought marijuana, they bought food, marijuana. They bought $300 worth of items that was back to back within like seconds and minutes. And thank goodness Golden One, like my bank was like, oh, this is something that's not usual for you, right? And so
Yeah.
they reported it right away. And then I called, and of course I changed everything, closed that account, got new stuff. But you know what? I didn't even know that people can scam your information from a website that's a scam too. And they're doing it around this time when they know that people are getting tax refunds,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I was just like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that until you were talking about like the creative ways of how people can steal your identity. And I can tell you that since then, I've had to change my accounts and information about 3 times. I think I've gotten three new accounts, 3 new ATM cards, because it's on the rise right now,
Mhm.
because everything's gone up. I've had a couple friends reporting, even tellers reporting to me that they've had to change all their information. So I just want to let everybody know out there that it's happening, and it could be from purchasing, like I said, an AC unit, a book online,
Mhm.
even buying food, making sure that you purchase food from a legit food um, website or an actual store. So now I make sure that I go through places like Amazon, and I'm not going through some website that it has history. So thank you for that. It really helps. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's help a lot of people, because I realize that you have to like start learning and know that they're usually 10 steps ahead of you. And when you got instinct that that's not right, that you need to just stop for a moment. So all right.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. And then our last question here, but if anybody has any questions, you feel free to ask. So the last question here is, May, can you give us some red flags, examples of scammers and some crime prevention tips so people could be more cautious and protect themselves from being victimized?
Yes. So Rachel, most important thing is be educated. Be
Mhm.
educated, be informed.
Yes.
I'll give you a couple signs of, scams, red flags. But truly, just be educated, just be informed.
Yes.
When I was still in corporate, what I would do, kind of go back to what you talk about the manager at that one store when you went to go
Mhm.
buy those gift cards.
Mhm.
So I will go out to, for example, stores, and I will go train managers and staff, especially cashiers, and I'll go to the bank, the teller. We will host like events where we would train the tellers or the bank
Mhm.
about, mandatory reporting about scams, and so that things that they could look for if they have an elderly walking with a younger person, and just
Mhm.
try to take out a lump sum of money that they normally don't do that. That to be on the lookout and to be red flags, and to red flags and things like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that was something that I was doing when I was in corporate. But I'll share
Mhm.
with you some of the red flags of what scammers do. Um,
Mhm.
so one scammer, they will pretend to be from our organizations, like we mentioned earlier, Irs, Social Security, your state, local Department of Revenue, a local tax professional that's actually well known in your, in your cities or your state. So, for example, like HR Block, right? If
Mhm.
that's popular within your area, right? And your local law enforcement, so that could be Sacramento, police
Mhm.
department. They want to make sure that it's legit. Before they call you, they probably have a lot of information about you. They're
Mhm.
probably already know your air code, your address, or your locations to say, oh yeah, Rachel, it's I'm from Sacramento, law enforcement or the sheriff's office,
Mhm.
so then that that worries you because it's from my local law enforcement. It's not somewhere from New York, right?
Mhm.
Um, the second thing is just know that scammer, um, when they call you regarding tax,
Mhm.
they will not use any other terminology outside of the tax. So they will not say
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you win a lotto ticket," right? They will say,
Mhm.
"Oh, it looks like there's a tax. There's some issues with your tax filing." They say, after we did some auditing, looks like you owe tax. You're not due for a refund. Or
Mhm.
they may say, "Hey, looks like you were due for a refund," when you know that you're not due for a refund.
Mhm.
Um, or sometimes they may, contact you and say, "Hey, it looks like there's an overlapping or a conflict with your filing, your information.
Mhm.
We just need you to verify. We just need you to verify the information. We need you to verify your social security, your address, your date of birth." Sometimes they even say, "Hey, we're from, for example, the IRS." If we are trying to deposit your refund, but it looks like there's a glitch with your bank information. So can you verify your bank informations?
Mhm.
So you can get all kind of call, all kind of reasons that it's
Wow.
relevant to tax. And then the third thing is scammer will pressure you to act immediately. They want you to be able to act before you even have time to think.
Yes.
They want you to be on the phone. They don't want you to hang up just in case if you call somebody or you check them out. They
Mhm.
want to make sure that they have you engaged in the phone, that you're hooked on the phone, and they may even threat to arrest you, sue
Yes.
you, take your driver's license away,
Mhm.
take away your business license if you're a business owner, or
Mhm.
deport you if they know that you're immigrants. So all
Mhm.
of these happen all the time.
Yes.
The fourth thing is scammer will tell you to pay in a specific way. So
Wow.
they might demand you to make payment over the phone. They may demand you to pay with a store gift cards.
Yep.
They may demand you to make payment through a money transfer company. And they may even say, for example, "Hey, Rachel,
Mhm.
it looks like the check we send you, or we just sent out a check to you, reference a check number, and then the check that you have at your house may looks really, really legit."
Mhm.
And they may say, "Oh, yeah, let's just say the check is for $5,000.
Mhm.
And they may say, "Oh, after we did some auditing, supposedly, I think you should only get, you are only due for a $2,000 refund, but the check is for $5,000. So we need you to deposit that check and then send us the $3,000." So
Mhm.
these are some tricks that they use to get people to send money, and in the way that looks very, very legit, and using authorities, agencies name to fool you.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of, just be aware that these company and these scammer, they know what they're doing, and they are, I call like career criminal, where they're
Yeah.
studied to do that, right? They're studied to do that, so they know
Yep.
what they're doing.
They're
They
experts. They're
in
absolute
that.
experts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they have
They're
a team that work together.
yes.
They even, one time I was helping a elder, a victim, and her story was, it was a officer who called and say, "Hey, I got, I pull over your grandson," and then the grandma with the victim go, "Oh, is it so and so?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's so and so." And then after they're like talking and say, "Well, da 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 da," the officer say, "Well, you know what? If you don't believe me, you could talk to my supervisor," and then hang the phone,
Yes.
get the phone over to another supposedly authority, right? So they
Right.
work as a team to fool you and to get you. So just kind of be on the lookout and just be cautious about everything that you're dealing with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you asked about how can you avoid scams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first thing, just know that government agency will never call you. They don't have time for that. There's millions of people. They don't have a group of call center who just call people
Mm-hmm.
and ask questions or demand for payments and things like that.
Yeah.
Government agency will never demand for payments over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
They will never have you pay right away. They
Mm-hmm.
will never threaten you. They will notify you by letter if you owe money. They will give you time to respond, and they will give you option to make your payments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is you can do is to block unwanted phone calls or text messages. To put yourself on the do not call list. I do have some resources and tips of how you can do that. So if you want that information, reach out to me or connect with me. More than happy to share that resources with you of how you can take yourself off from unwanted phone calls and
Mm-hmm.
text messages and emails and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to share those resources. The third thing that you can do is give your personal information. Maybe don't give your personal information or respond to any request that you do not expect. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know that you're not expecting a phone call from Social Security, um, don't give out your information, even though they ask you to verify. And what I can tell you is most of the time, legit organizations,
Mm-hmm.
they call you, they have your phone number, they have your identity, they have your information.
Mm-hmm.
They likely will not ask you to verify those information because they already have it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just make sure and know that, for example, if you get an email, so the fourth thing is know if when you get an email or a text message that may seem to be very, very legit,
Mm-hmm.
still do not click on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they have a link, kind of like you say, the website or the email or the text message, they look really legit.
Mm-hmm.
If they give you a link to click on, if they say, "Hey Rachel, click here to pay," don't click on that links that they give you.
Yeah.
Instead, if you want to know if it's a legit, let's just pretend that it's from your Department of Revenue, an email from them. Instead of clicking the link that they give you through your email, Google what is the website for your state, your local state Department of Revenue, and then go through the website to see their payment options. Or call them and ask to see are you really owing money, right?
Yep.
The second thing is to that is, for example, they may give you a callback number. They might leave you a voicemail and give you a callback number,
Mm-hmm.
or the caller ID, your caller ID may show a legit phone number. Don't call that number. Google what is the phone number to
Yeah.
my local Department of Revenue, right? And then call the number instead of calling back the number that they gave you.
Yeah.
Just do your homework. That will save you a lot from trouble. The fifth
Mm-hmm.
thing is resist the pressure of to act immediately. Meaning, for example, they pressure you to act immediately. Just know that legitimate business will give you time to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you one example. One time, I actually forgot to pay my Coast Card credit card. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's my Coast Card store credit card. And so they call me just to remind me that I forgot, that I had a past due, right? It
Yeah.
happens, right? And
Yeah.
then as I was talking to the customer service or the representative, he go, well, I could take payment over the phone right now. And I go, yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead and take care of that for me. Just use the last the last account that you have on file, and I authorize you to make a one-time payment for this dollar amount. And he
Yeah.
go, can you verify your bank information? I go, well, you should have my bank information on
Yeah.
file. If you don't, then that's okay. You know what? When I get home, I will go online and I will make a payment. He go, well, no, I could take a payment right now. I just need you to verify it. I go, no, I can do it at home. And I hang up the
Oh.
phone. Because whether they're legit or not, I don't believe I need to verify my information. Because
Mhm.
they call me, they should already have my information. That I shouldn't
Mhm.
need to verify it.
Mhm.
So just do your homework, and that you have the right to say, not right now. I'll take care
Mhm.
of it later. Um,
Mhm.
the sixth thing is never pay your debt or whatever they're telling you to pay for with a
Mhm.
credit card. Never use a money transfer services.
Mhm.
Never deposit a check and send some money back.
Mhm.
Um, if and it happens,
Mhm.
I'll give you an example. When I was on maternity leave, and
Mhm.
I was on my employer's short-term disability claim. And
Mhm.
so my employer already paid me, but then the claim company or the third party company, they didn't know that, so they sent me my check.
Mhm.
So instead of cash a check and then send a check to refund, what I did was I didn't cash a check. I just sent a check back.
Mhm.
So don't cash it if you haven't cashed it. And if you did, for example, if you are being overpaid and if you did already cash a check, instead of send them a check, ask them to bill you and say, send me
Mhm.
a bill. When they send you a bill, guess what? There's a tracking number, there's an invoice,
Mhm.
and you pay with that so that you could track that and just pretty much just cover your butt, just cover
Mhm.
yourself. Uh,
Yeah.
and the last the last thing is talk to someone that you trust. There's no shame, there's no
Mhm.
need to be embarrassed. We all,
Mhm.
going through a process, and we all learn as we go. So don't
Mhm.
be ashamed to share, your experience, or to, ask people questions. And if you're unsure what to do, ask for help. Because why? By talking to somebody, by sharing what you're going through, or sharing about, the phone call that you get, it could literally help you to realize that you have been scammed, or it's a scam.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
um, it can actually help other people to realize that too. And you can actually save somebody by sharing that, hey, I had this experience, so that next time they will remember Rachel's story.
Mhm.
And then when they encounter that, they go, oh yeah, I remember, I heard this from Rachel. So
Mhm.
you can actually save somebody that way.
Mhm.
So yeah, so with that, hey Rachel, share with me, or share with us,
Mhm.
how does it make you feel when you encounter that, the phone call or that scam that one time? How did you feel about it? And what do you wish you would know then?
Hmm. So I think initially I first felt when I got the phone call was I was shocked that they had my phone number and that they knew who I was. But I realized when I answered the phone, I already said, "Hi, this is Rachel. How can I help you?" But then, when they started saying Rachel, I didn't even think about this. But at the moment, I was just okay, scared. I was scared. I was nervous. Especially after they said we're IRS, where we realized that you owe money, and like the majority of people owe money, and then um, by them pressuring you to immediately make payment, even after I said I was at work, um, and they said I know where you work. And I said, "No, you don't." And they said, "Yes, we do. We have all your information here." It also like made me fear that I was gonna like lose my job. I was gonna lose my income, and I was gonna lose. Then they said, "We can even take your car, and we can seize your account. So I was just thinking in that very moment of all the things that I could lose. And then of course the urgency of you need to go make a payment right now. And the only way you to do that so you don't lose everything is to go to the store. And so I think that's how I felt, was the fear, anxiety, um, afraid to lose everything that I worked so hard for, and the pressure of leaving work, and not trusting your own instincts, because when they catch you in that moment, I think you don't really think that way. I think it's the same, similar to when you told me the story, or you told us about the grandmother. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you are caught in that state of fear that, oh my goodness, you have my grandson. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to pay this amount to get my grandson out of trouble, or I need to do this so I don't, I don't get in trouble. Yeah, so that's how I really felt. I just felt like there was no way out. I felt trapped. I felt scared. I was very fearful.
Yeah, yeah. I yeah, it's it's frustrating, it's devastating. And it's when you're in that moment, you don't know what to do. Let's just, go back to that grandma story where
Mhm.
the grandson, he's a trouble kid. Let's just put it that
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
So grandma tried to cover up for the grandson. So
Mhm.
she would not call the dad. She would not call the grandson's dad or
Mhm.
her son to say, "Hey, your son's in trouble." Um, she tried to, help out all by herself without letting the parents know, right? Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's things like that happen, and when you're in that moment of they threaten you to take things that are valuable to you. They know, for example, if I'm gonna scan you, Rachel, I will probably look to see what area do you live, where do you work, do you have kids,
Mhm.
did you post anything on social media that you mentioned your kid's name?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
like I will use those to kind of be the hook, right, to get you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just the same thing as when we go fishing. If you go to a certain lake, you know what kind of fish are in that lake, right? So
Mhm.
therefore, we will buy the food, or we will bring the right fishing tools
Mhm.
to hook and to
And
get
the
the
bait,
right
yeah.
kind of fish, right? So the same thing, same concept.
Mhm.
So to answer one of the questions, can you see on your side, Rachel? I'm trying to pull this up.
Yes, I was gonna say thank you, Moth White, for your question, and definitely that's a great question.
So yeah, so the question was, how do you prevent credit fraud? Or how do these scammers get access to personal informations? So to answer your questions, that happens everywhere. That could be, whenever your bank or a credit card company has a, system bleach, or this happens all the time. And then we do this all the time. How
Mhm.
often do you pay online and type in your credit card information? All the time,
All
right?
the
How
time. Mhm.
often do you make it? How often do you call to, I don't know, to pay your bills, and
Mhm.
you call over the phone, and then they ask you to give out your information, your
Mhm.
credit card, the the security code and everything. You don't know who's sitting on the other end. You don't know, did they enter into their system, and then once they enter it in, is it lock away, does it disappear, or did they write it on a piece of paper and they can
Yeah.
take it home?
Yeah.
Or did they write it on a notebook and they take it with them when they go home? So you just don't know. It's everywhere. Just be cautious, and just, whatever that you could do to prevent yourself. Um, it's crucial. So what I would say is, if you are afraid of people open a credit card under your name, or open a credit line under your name, or take out a loan under your name, if you're not in the process of, buying a house, making big purchases, then freeze your credit. Like, put a freeze on your credit. Because
Mhm.
when you put a freeze on your credit, when somebody who has your information try to apply for a credit card under your name, try
Mhm.
to take out a loan under your name, or they, misuse your identity, um, at least it doesn't affect your, for example, credit card. If you take the proactive um, step to protect your identity that way, and then when you freeze a credit card, you can unfreeze it when you're ready to make those purchases. When you're ready to refinance your house, you could contact the agents, the credit card agency company, and say, "I need you to unfreeze my credit card." And then when you're not using it, freeze it again. Do whatever it takes to protect yourself and just kind of be on the lookout. What I normally do often is get a free copy of your credit report, look through all those credit line, all those credit card company, highlight anything that you are unsure. For example, if you have a Capital One listed in there, ask yourself, do I have a Capital One credit card? Or did I have that a long time ago that I, just never use it? And in anything that's no longer serve you or that that's not you, dispute it, close it, and like, let's just say, for example, if there's a Capital One credit card shown on your credit card, even though it's not doing anything, even though nobody is using it, even though it's not making a negative effects on your credit score, if you know that it's not yours, take action on it, dispute that, close that line down. Just because it's not doing anything does not mean that just leave it alone. Act on it, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Who has access to that Capital One credit card information, or who has access to that account, and they may misuse that. So if you know that it's not your, dispute that and take care of that. Even though it's not doing anything right now for you, it does not mean that it's not going to affect you in the future. So yeah, review your credit card often. Your credit report often. If you want to know how you can actually request for a free copy of your credit report, reach out to me, connect with me. I'm more than happy to give you how to do that, where to go do that, and the applications if you do need it. And just know that if it's your first time, annually, you are allowed to get one free credit card. So, one free credit score report. So make sure you don't get misled by third-party company to pay a fee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you, Ma, for your question. You're welcome, and love working with Mae because she'll say, get a copy of it. Go, send it to me, email it. I want to see it. And so it's very helpful when you actually have somebody who's familiar with the documents and they can review it with you, and they can really share with you all the steps that you can take to review it, because I think that sometimes we get confused too. But yeah, those are great tips. I didn't even know that you could freeze your credit, and follow up and take action, especially if there's, like you said, like a Capital One or a credit card that's not even serving you, or it's no longer active, and you're not even actively needing to apply for that credit card. But yes, definitely contact Mae if you have further questions, because there are sometimes specific, I think, things you have to do. So so I would like to close out with this, is that for more information about Mae Yang, please go to the links in the description section. I will put those descriptions in again for everybody. If you would like to learn more about Mae's Money Ahead Method program, connect with her. Inside her program, she helps working professionals in personalized solutions, laser-focused strategies, and guide them to develop financial goals to meet their desires for life-changing experiences, such as like what is happening in my life right now. Mae is also a co-author of her new book, quote, Journey to Now, which will be published in late April. Her story highlights her money mindset and how she pulled herself out of poverty, her breakthroughs, and her inspiration. So if you would like to have a copy, get to know her more, get information, her services, you can follow her and connect with her, and also get her list of her books that she recommends and she's read, and that we talked about earlier today. So thank you so much, Mae. Thank you so much for sharing all your wealth of knowledge and everything, and giving us all these wonderful tips and tools. And then, spending this Saturday morning with us, because I know that you have a family and you have things to do, and, things always happen. I'm so glad we finally got this done right before tax season, because I think taxes, it's pretty much going to be due this April. And so it's not.
I haven't filed my tax. Don't tell anyone that.
Me neither. I was like, oh my God, there's so many things to do. But for sure, if you need any more information, Mae is available. We will give all the information in the description after our interview. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for always supporting and being a part of Project We Inspire. Again, the motto is together we inspire for a better future. So thank you, Mae, for being a part of our platform.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Rachel. Everyone, have a great weekend. Again, Rachel will share my contact information. If you want to connect with me, reach out to me, or book a call with me. Please do book a call with me. I'm more than happy to, chat with you, and we'll let you get to know you and connect with you as well. If there's any resources that I may be able to, provide for you or connect you with, and I know we talk about taxes. If you're unsure what to do with your taxes, more than happy to make recommendations for you and get referrals for you. I do have a couple business partner who are CPA, and they are awesome and happy to connect you with those individuals as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Mae. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.
All right. Thank you.